The money is going to come no matter what. The money is coming, but do you actually love what you do? What is the best way to provide my customer with what they requested and meet the deliverables and the requirements?
Welcome to the Business Narrative. It's me, Wajiha Nadeem. Today our guest is Talal. So Talal, how are you?
I'm doing fine, dear. Hello.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. As you are a serial entrepreneur, you have founded so many successful business. So I'm really excited to know about your journey and what excites your passion for entrepreneurship.
First of all, dear, I would like to thank you for inviting me for this podcast. It's a pleasure for me to come and speak and share my experience with other fellow entrepreneurs as well. Yes, I'm a serial entrepreneur. And what I mean by serial entrepreneur is that I'm a guy who likes to do business and come up with innovative ways to solve problems in the society and make money while doing them as well. So this is what I love doing for life. And my entrepreneurship journey is kind of a 24 hours thing I do. I wake up thinking of entrepreneurship. I sleep thinking of entrepreneurship. Of course, I have some time off during the weekend. I manage my time well. I manage my priorities well. So, yeah, so I'm here today and I'm happy to speak. Just can you remind me of your question so that I can shoot right ahead and talk about it?
Just please tell us about your journey first so that we can.
Yes. Okay. So dear, I've been in the entrepreneurship field for the past decade. I've been in business for about 14, I think 13, 14 years. Before I started business, I was at the university studying accounting. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. And my thoughts initially and back then was not to become a businessman or an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship meant or that the word even existed. So I wanted to become something, I wanted to have a very high role in the banking sector. I wanted to become a banker because there were people in my family who were very successful doing a 9 to 5 job in the banking sector. And I wanted to be like them. I didn't have any other role models in the family or of my acquaintances. So I started getting to know people who had ambitions on starting their own ventures and businesses. And they introduced me to books. So they were people who read books. I was not reading books back then. So I learned that there's something called reading. I should start reading books. So I started reading books about self-development and business. And I was enlightened. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that book changed my mind 180% about life and the perspective of life. So before I even finished university, I decided to start doing business and trade. Like I would get some products from outside of Bahrain and come and sell them to business stores in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So I was doing kind of a B2B thing where I become a supplier for a lot of local businesses here in Bahrain rather than selling to actual consumers or individuals or customers. So this was the first and the beginning of my journey. And in Bahrain, we're lucky because there are a lot of entrepreneurship and business development programs. So I participated in a number of these. And so my knowledge in the business sector started to increase. I started to know what a business plan is. I started to understand that there is something called the BMC business model canvas. And I started creating these for some of my ideas, the ideas that I had in my mind. My network started expanding. I was very small. I was like 23, 22 years old, of 21. And my network of people who are in the business field started to expand. And whenever I meet someone who's far ahead of me in business, I always ask this question. I tell them, give me an advice that would help me in my journey in business. And different people, different entrepreneurs and businessmen give me different advices. Most of these people, they tell me to make sure that I have very good financial control in my businesses. So if you get revenue, for example, you don't use that revenue for your own personal expenses. Maybe you take a small percentage, but the rest goes back to business, and you have to have a very good budgeting plan for your business to work. So that was all in my head, and I started to implement this in my business. I participated in a program in Bahrain called the Mission Entrepreneurs Reality TV show. That was in 2014. The show was a long story. It's out there on YouTube. We were 14, I think 14 people. They separated us into two teams. 7 people were to go through 8 missions. Each mission, the losing team would have to vote one of their members outside of their program. The first 3 to 4 missions, my team always lost. So we were like 4 or 3 people versus 7, and then the organizers had to reshuffle the teams. I ended up winning this show, alhamdulillah, where the prize was a cash money prize to start the venture, my own venture. So I started my first official actual business in 2014. It was called Shabaka TV Productions back then. We changed the name multiple times until we settled with Shabaka Media and Events Management. Our mission in Shabaka TV was to create full-time self-employed YouTubers. Now, the idea back then, it did not work because we required a lot of initial capital for this idea to work. We work with a lot of people and content creators and focus on having them develop and become better and better on social media and creating content on YouTube. So what do? We used to take a percentage of whatever they make from YouTube, social media. In return, we provide them with a space to shoot, video production equipment, a team so that they get training. We connect them with other people who want to be to join their team as editors, as graphic designers, animators, and what such. So basically, for them to become successful, it would take them a long period of time. During that time, we as a company, we did not make money. So my number one point which I missed in business is I was not focusing on how I will be able to generate money for the business to become sustainable. So this is my advice for any new or aspiring entrepreneurs. If you have an idea, that's great. If you love your idea, that's good. If you believe in yourself, that's amazing. But always ensure and make sure that you know how you are going to make money out of your business. Because if you don't make money, your idea might be great. It will change the world maybe, but it will eventually end because you need to sustain and maintain the business. So I did not have that. So eventually I ended up deciding with my team to change the direction of the company. And we started providing services within similar fields like video production services, video coverage, live streaming. And then we went into events management and whatsoever. And we started making very good money for a few years until COVID hit us. And we created a huge program in Bahrain called also the YouTube Masters program, where we teach people about the basics and the intermediate level of creating content on specifically YouTube. It was a great ride, but by the time COVID was almost ending, I was getting a lot of doubts and questions about my business. I didn't like what I was doing. I started the business to help content creators become famous and work for themselves by creating content on their own YouTube channel. I ended up not doing that at all. I ended up working in the video production industry, in the events management industry, in the technology industry, industries far away related, but I'm doing services to companies far away from what I originally set out to do. So I lost my why. I lost my why, the reason of why I started this business venture. When I started, I used to get bored when the weekend comes. I was waiting for Sundays. Sunday is the first day of work here in Bahrain. I was always waiting for Sunday to come. If Thursday comes, unlike 90% of people in Bahrain, they get excited because it's holiday. So I was not like this. By the end of Shabaka, I was getting bored during the weekdays and I was always waiting for the weekend. So this shift, I didn't like at all. So I decided to close my business. It was a hard decision. I was emotionally attached to my business. I always felt like this is my baby. I don't want to lose my baby. But in the end, it's a business. If you make money, you continue. If you don't, close it. No emotions attached. Thank you very much. So I closed my business. And then I had some time, like 6 months, to contemplate and reflect upon my entrepreneurship journey. And now I'm talking about 2022, the period of 2022, beginning of 2023, like that. And by that time, I already started my master's degree, and I was in the final stages of getting my degree. So I only had the the research paper to finalize. So I decided to focus on my completing my MBA, and I finished my MBA. And during that time, well, a lot of friends in the business industry, and specifically one of them was always telling me to come and help them in their company. So they have business problems, and these people started business after me. I've been in the business realm way longer than them. They are recent entrepreneurs, and they get into a lot of troubles and mistakes that they don't know. Come and help us, come and guide us, give us, consult us. And I was not charging them money. And this guy told me, I want to pay you for your services. You are definitely providing me with value. You've helped my business become 3 times more successful. I'm making 3 times the amount of money in comparison to the day one when you joined or when you started to provide us with consultancy. I want to have a 2 years contract with you where we sit on a month-to-month basis, and you look at where we at, you check the milestones, you become the person that tells me why I am doing this. I'm the boss, I'm the big man. I don't like employees coming and having ego in the office. I like them to be disciplined, and I'm strict with them, but I need you to be the person who tells me and challenges me, gives me challenging questions. And I was like, okay. So I thought a light bulb appeared upon my head, up above my head, and I decided to open my next company number 2. Of course, Shabaka closed, so this would be company number 1, Dunfirm Consultancy. So in Dunfirm Consultancy, this is my current 9 to 5 business. We work with startups, basically with small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in Bahrain, to help them in any problem they may face in business in general. We provide them with consultancy. Also, any businessman or entrepreneur who is interested to open and set up their businesses in Bahrain, please reach out to me, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to set up your entire company in Bahrain. And whatever help you need, we are more than happy to extend our hands to help you with your business in Bahrain. So this is what we have been doing, and we've been running for now almost 2 years, alhamdulillah. We're finishing the 2nd year now. And the portfolio of people or businesses we work with in Bahrain is growing week by week, gradually, alhamdulillah. And so this is my main business. But at the same time, why do I call myself a serial entrepreneur? This started beginning of this year. So at the current stage, at the current status or stage in Bahrain, I currently own around 4 or 5 businesses. I'm not mainly the person who is running and in charge of these businesses. So I decided to get into partnerships with some people to start businesses, to invest in other businesses. And all my partners, these are the people that run and manage the businesses. What I mainly do is I'm a silent partner, or I do assist somehow here and there where they require. So Dunfirm is one of the companies, that's my main company that I work in and run. My second is called Creators Bay Media. Creators Bay Media. In Creators Bay Media, it's similar to Shabaka's idea, but it's way different. What we do is that we work with content creators, and I have a partner, and he's the creative director. He's called Muhammad Abdullah, also known as Psycho. We call him Psycho. He's not because he's crazy, but Psycho means brave in Japan, or he'd like to believe that. So I'm sorry, Abdullah Muhammad, if you are listening to this, but I told you I'll tell everyone. So basically, me and Psycho, we have this business. It's called Creators Bay Media. We work with content creators, social media influencers, and famous people on social media. How we shoot, we edit, we post. They come up. If you, for example, you have an idea and you want to become a social media celebrity, you are an actual influencer, you will need a media team behind your back. You want them to become the back end team that help you in creating content. We are your back end team. So you would pay us on a monthly basis, some fee, which we charge you. And what we do is that we are going to do the entire work for you. But we will not come up with the ideas for your content. You will come up with the ideas. Our team will come to your place, or you will come to our place. We will shoot, edit, and post. Thank you very much. So this is Creators Bay Media. I'm a partner in an accounting company called FinPal Accounting in Bahrain. We do bookkeeping, taxation as well. We're trying to get into the auditing field, but we have a lot of paperwork to do with the Central Bank of Bahrain. Not yet. So very soon, inshallah. So this is my fourth and most recent company. It's an exciting company. It's called Gamers Showdown. So we have an agreement with several game developers. One of the developers I'd announced is Riot Games. It's one of the big companies, game developer companies in the world. They have games under them, League of Legends, Valorant, and other games as well. So basically, we have this company. What we do in this company, we organize virtual online tournaments, and we use Discord as the main communication tool during these tournaments. And so far, we've conducted two tournaments. Both of them are successful. We have plenty of sponsors who are involved with us as well. And we decided to take this company forward and invest more time, money, and effort in it. So in this company, I'm not running it basically. I'm managing the business aspects of it, but we are four different partners. Four of us are people who are very much involved and attached to gaming and in the gaming field. So that's Gamers Showdown, and we provide services for any entity that require gamification or services like game tournament organization and whatsoever. So we are focusing on investing and growing the esports sector in Bahrain specifically and the GCC in general.
Like for example, right now in social media, every influencer is just making content to just make it rich or to be famous. So how to create an engaging content?
I'm sorry, how do you create engaging content?
Engaging content that really affects the person's mind.
Okay, so this is a very good question, dear. Thank you for asking that question. So it depends, number one, on the person who's presenting this content. So how is the content being presented? Is it like an animation video? Is it a voiceover video? Is it like a presentation slide coming? Is it something that will trigger people to want to know why? Like, for example, whatever content, there always has to be a hook. The hook is the first 2 to 3 seconds, maybe a maximum of 5 seconds in the video that would let people want to watch the rest of the video. So this is very important to have. Okay, this is number one. Number two, it depends on the person. If for example, you decided to be the face of whatever content you're going to produce, how are you talking to the audience? How are you connecting with them? Are you looking at them? Or are you asking them questions? Are you talking in a way that would trigger curiosity in people? Are you sharing information? Are you saying something rubbish? So it depends on all these two factors. And there are other factors as well. Like, for example, there are topics that are hot at the moment, and there are topics that nobody would care about. Like, for example, if you are getting into politics and you will talk about whatever is happening in the Middle East right now, I will not mention names in this podcast. Many people who are into what's happening and are emotionally attached to whatever happening politically in the Middle East would watch your content. But if you talk about, for example, I don't know, let's say a topic that would not pull the interest of people. Like, for example, what's a dish that is very famous in Pakistan?
It's biryani.
Okay, biryani, people love to eat biryani, and Bahrain as well. So let's say biryani. We'll talk about biryani and how to cook biryani. But you are in the United States, and your audience are people in the United States. Do you think you will get much engagement?
No.
Because they don't eat biryani, they're not interested. But expats who live in the United States, from Pakistan, East Asia, Middle East, would be interested to watch your video. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you have to make a content according to your audience. Am I right?
Yes. But specifically, it's very important for whoever's going to make content is, of course, you're going to look at what your audience needs and you supply them with what they need. But do you also like the type of content that you are creating? Are you enjoying the process? Or are you getting bored and there for the money? Because if you're there only to get the money, eventually you'll get bored and you will tire and your energy level will be so low. But if you're there because you're so much attached and in love and passionate about your own content, and you work tirelessly to push it out there and improve yourself on a continuous basis, the money is going to come no matter what. The money is coming. But do you actually love what you do? But
I
this is
agree.
very important. So people should not mix up between loving what I do and business. Like, for example, I love to go fishing with, I don't know how to call it in English. So in Arabic, we say بالخيط, which means, okay, I don't use a fishing, what is it called?
What?
Rod. Yeah, I don't use a fishing rod. Okay, I use just the string. That's it, and I just put hooks in this. I like to fish like this, but if I want to get into business in the fishing sector, if I go and fish like this, it will take me 1 week to catch a lot of fish. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
working in what I love to try and be successful in it, where the market has changed a lot, and if you don't follow what the trends are and what the market is doing, you will eventually be very slow in becoming successful.
Okay, like as you provide consultancy to the startups or companies, so what are the footsteps I have to consider before starting a business?
Okay, so it depends. Number one, where are you going to start the business? Number one, on which sector is it?
For example, if I said like IT sector in Bahrain.
Okay, very good. So you define the sector and you've defined the location. You will look at number one, the competitors in Bahrain. Are there many? Is the competition a lot? Are the companies closing? Are new companies opening in Bahrain? And all of that is public data you can find in any government in the world. Like you want to start in the UAE, you will go to the government website and you'll see how many IT businesses are opening or closing. Okay, so this is like your third indicator. Number four, you will study the market. You'll study the market. Is there demand? Yes, there are a lot of companies opening, but maybe a lot of companies opening in Bahrain because the government drops 2 or 3 projects in millions per year. Small projects are worthless for you to start companies, an IT company in Bahrain. So this is why companies are opening in Bahrain. So after you see how many companies are opening in Bahrain, you will see the amount of project that exists in Bahrain. Is there a lot of demand for an IT company? And when you get into IT, this is a very broad word when I say an IT company. So in which niche sector in the IT or division are you working? Are you creating mobile applications? Are you focusing on creating mobile applications and websites? Are you focusing on ERP systems? Are you focusing, what is it exactly? So you have to define that, and you have to look at whether this is needed in Bahrain or not. Yeah. Number 5, of course, when you start a company in Bahrain and you're from Pakistan, you will have to define, will I want or need to have a local development team in Bahrain? Or will I have a sales team in Bahrain consisting of 2 or 3 people? And my entire back-end development team will be in my Pakistan company. A lot of companies in Bahrain do that. Pakistani and non-Pakistani companies as well. We have a lot of IT Pakistani, I think I know about 2, I think, or 3, that have their entire back-end team set up in Pakistan. And there are companies in India as well, okay? Number 6, once you study all of this before creating any sort of business plan, blah, 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 you want to also figure out if, what was just on the top of my head. I forgot this point. So once you so once you figure out all of these 6 or 5, 6 methodologies, don't start creating business plan. Don't start creating market whatsoever. Try to think if is starting the company the right decision, or should I partner with existing IT companies in Bahrain and tell them any extra work you have, we can be the back-end team in Pakistan to manage the project for you. We will become your supplier. We will have a contract with you. We will not open a company in Bahrain, but you will deal with us. So they bear the entire cost and the sales and everything. But working like this will not ensure you're getting projects, because just like you, there are many other companies in Pakistan, India, Asia, that are contacting companies in Bahrain to become their suppliers as well. Once you figure out what you want to do and you want to start a company in Bahrain, reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help out in setting it up for you.
Okay. So, Talal, like you are like, don't you think that companies is like providing, it's like hiring an external team to help them? So don't you think that it's a fault in your team that you have to hire an external or
No,
person?
no. In Bahrain, it's not like that. Why? Because Bahrain lacks a lot of coders and website or developers, I'd say, in the IT field. There are not much. We have a coding institute that opened recently in Bahrain, I think about 8 months ago, and it's fully funded by the government or a semi-government organization called Temkeen. It's called Reboot Coding Institute, and their target is to have over 200 people graduate with as full stack developers, Bahrainis. We don't have a lot of full stack developers in Bahrain or people who know how to handle coding. I can mention them within these fingers in Bahrain. There's so little. I'm talking about local Bahrainis. But expats, we have coders here who people got from Pakistan, from India, from other countries as well, to have them work in their companies. So if I get an external team to do a project for me in my company related to IT, that's going to be a brilliant idea, a great idea. Of course, there are issues like quality assurance, delivery on time. Can I trust these people to actually not shame me in front of the government or the customer that I'm working with? When we talk about other fields as well, it depends on the type of project. Like for example, a project where I'm going to have to do video shooting for Bahrain TV, for example, I will not need a large team, and I will need a team with professional background. And based on the requirements, I might need a team with Hollywood experience and capabilities. We don't have that in Bahrain. So of course I will get people who work in Hollywood from the United States to come to Bahrain. Even if they were like, for example, Pakistanis who worked in Hollywood are now back in Pakistan doing video production work. I will hire them to come and help me with the project in Bahrain. So it depends on the requirements. There's no fixed calculation in business on how to do business. It's all about trying to figure out what is the best way to provide my customer with what they requested and meet the deliverables and the requirements. And I always like to exceed it, even with a little bit of exceeding it. It's much better for the long-term relationship. And how can I reduce the cost on my behalf as little as possible, while also keeping in mind during the entire duration of the project of being fair to everyone working with me and the team.
Okay, what is the most unconventional myth you want to debunk for like entrepreneurship?
What is the most unconventional
Myth
myth? Okay, that's okay. It's very simple.
related to entrepreneurship.
Yeah. I think a lot of people. I want to talk about the pyramid of learning. Have you heard about this concept before?
No.
Okay, so for me, I don't come from a. So okay, number one, the myth I'd like to debunk is when people say you are born a leader or you're not born a leader. This I want to debunk 100%, because it's not about the concept of leadership. Some people also say you are born with a business mindset or you're not born with a business mindset. If you're born with a business mindset and it's in your genes, you'll be a businessman and you'll be successful. So this is the myth. It's all about skills that you acquire. Now, I want to talk about the learning pyramid. What is the learning pyramid? If I will tell you, dear, okay, what field do you work in?
I'm a business developer.
Okay.
And also doing a podcast hosting.
Okay. In which industry business developer?
IT industry.
Very nice. Interesting. If I will come to you and tell you I want you to be a business developer in the oil and gas industry, I will give you a very good salary and I want you to help me with that. You will say, okay, but for you to do an excellent job that is meeting the excellence that you are doing in the IT industry, how much time is going to take you? 1 year, 2 years, maybe, give or take, maybe?
Around 6 to 7 months.
Okay, 6 to 7 months. So your learning pyramid is a little bit tall, because you're going to walk some hard steps to learn whatever you need to learn to become excellent at what you do. It's skills related. But if I'm going to get you in Bahrain and I tell you, I'm going to open an IT company and please become the business developer for my IT company in Bahrain, How much is it
I
going to
will
take
be
you to
good
become
to go.
successful? You're good to go. So your learning pyramid in Bahrain, you will only learn how locally people deal with things. So your learning pyramid, you're going to walk, no? It's like this. It's like you're easy for you. You know what I mean? So it all depends. It all depends. The myth of you're talented at something. Yes, there are people who are talented at stuff because at a very young age, they were given these skills that people who are older at an older stage, they realize that it's important for them to get. And it's important to note that teaching people at a younger age is like craving on stone. It becomes embedded in their personality. So I don't come from a business oriented family. I don't. I know friends who come from a business oriented family. For them, doing business and becoming very successful is easy. Why? Because they learned a lot of strategies, methods, negotiation skills, dealing with people from their parents, from their family. None of my family do business. So for me to become like them, I have to surround myself with people, and my network has to be people in the business field as well, whichever field I want to specialize in, so that I can get and acquire these skills as well.
Talal, it's really nice talking to with you. Oh, by the way, like how people can connect you or find your work?
Okay, I will. It's very simple. On Instagram, I'm Talal Al Ansari. They can find me there. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm available on all social media: TikTok, X, or previously called Twitter, YouTube as well. I do content, but I do the content in I think in Arabic, so they might not understand.
I have
I will
watched
share.
it.
Oh, you have watched it? Oh, amazing. I will share. I do a podcast as well with Bahraini entrepreneurs, so from entrepreneurs to entrepreneurs as well. So I'm in the field that you're working in as well. I will share my contact with you. I'd be more than happy if you can share it with the viewers in the comments or captions section. Please feel free. I don't mind it as well. I'll share my email, my direct contact as well, and I'm more than happy to accommodate anyone, consult anyone, and do business with anyone who's interested to begin in Bahrain or the GCC, the Gulf countries.
Thank you so much. It's really nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being a very gracious and good host. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.